Yeah. So don't say by themselves and just in a weird place, though, innit? Sometimes. Sometimes it feels, but just in a weird place. You go, nah, no, it's probably, innit? Probably ghost to I think I have to break it again. Break it again in the room. I'm gonna stay. It has to go. Probably go. Yeah. All right. This is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday low class. You can't understand. No, it's alright. It's the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday low class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General YAHANNA's radio show, which is Monday 2 a.m. And also, there's one on Saturday 2 a.m. So log into those, man. The general will be dropping it heavy, man. Tons of things have come out in the news. So the general is going to cover all of those topics. He's going to cover all of those topics, man. Everything that you've been seeing going on with Afghanistan and whatnot. How the UK is going to take 20,000 of them. I thought the UK was overcrowded and they needed to, make up space and so forth. And now they're about to bring Afghanistans over here, man. To do what? Commit more crime, man. Most of them are running away from the Taliban because the Taliban basically has took over the whole country. I believe they finally captured the last city. So now it's under Taliban rule. And everyone's trying to flee Taliban rule because they're saying women can't go to college and blah, 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 blah. All of that nonsense, man. So everybody's running for their life. And where do they run to? To England, man. They're running to England. And Pretty Patel would protect them. Why? Because she's from that same race, man. Afghanistan's is Elamites. And so is Indians, Elamites. Why? Because before Afghanistan was recognized as part of India, before it split in like the 1800s or something. Then later on in the 1900s, it split again. Pakistan got its own little patch and other places. So they're all the same people, man. So Pretty Patel would sympathize with them. And she would be like, they can come to England. Listen, man, Pretty Patel's barely in England, man. She's barely hanging on in England. And she's trying to bring other people over. But when it comes to us, we get deported and whatnot. But don't worry, we will go into that on Friday and on the ends. But we're going to start off in the book of Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 16. Yeah. So also any questions, just type them in and we'll get to them. So just type in your questions.
Proverbs 14 and 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil.
A what?
A wise man feareth and departeth from evil.
That's what a wise man does, man. A wise man departs from evil. But what do most people do nowadays? They go towards evil. So we need to learn from these examples that we're reading of in the Bible. You see evil, you depart from it, man. Why? Because the end ain't going to be good, man. By you going towards the evil, it's not going to end, man. You see drug dealers getting all the Mercedes, and then you go towards that lifestyle, and then guess what happens? It doesn't end well for you, man. That's evil. Selling drugs is witchcraft, which is evil, man. You're selling poison to people. With drugs, you only see one side to it. You see the side that you see is the Mercedes, the watches, the apartments. That's the side that you see to drug dealing. And then on the other side is some poor black man with a needle in his arm somewhere, man. Is a needle in his arm somewhere in an abandoned flat with nothing, just a needle in his arm. You know what? There's an article. See if you can pull it. I can't remember what his name is. Type in man released from jail dies of a drug overdose. This was in Birmingham, man. They found him in some Aston shouter or something. If it comes up. Like that. Yeah. That happens before. Man released from jail, found dead of drug overdose. Then it might come up. Mm, no, not that one. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Mm, his name, yeah, type in Liam Bailey. Probably Liam Bailey found dead. Yeah, yeah. Probably. So this right here, the brother that was released from jail, it says ex-convict gardener who couldn't adjust to life outside jail found dead days after prison release. So this is a black man. This is the other side to drug dealing. Like you just see the one side to drug dealing. You see the Mercedes, the money, the women it brings. That's what you see. So you see the glory of being a drug dealer, and then this is the side that you don't see. So we're gonna read this side that you don't see.
Liam, age 43, told a probation officer he was struggling to adjust to life outside of prison.
This man's struggling to adjust to life outside the prison. You know why? Because in prison he can't get the hard drugs, but outside the prison he will go cut gardens and get money for them drugs, man. He will go do jobs and get money for them drugs. He was struggling to adjust to life outside the prison. Go ahead.
Before his death at the Aston Hotel,
Look at that, man. This man couldn't adjust to life outside prison, meaning he would rather live in jail than be outside because he believes it's safer in prison and he will live a lot longer in prison. This is our life, man. This is black people's life that you can't adjust to normal life outside the ghetto. Read on.
Liam Bailey was discovered with an empty syringe in his hand.
He was discovered with a what?
Empty syringe in his hand.
I wonder how he got the syringe, man. I wonder how he got this syringe. Read on.
Come. On the floor of his hotel room in Aston.
And he was found on the floor of his hotel room in Aston. Meanwhile, you're seeing that drug dealer with his Mercedes, man. In order for him to get that Mercedes, Liam Bailey has to be lying dead on the floor with a syringe next to him, man. Liam Bailey has to be dying in a bail hostel. He has to be found dead on the floor in a bail hostel in order for you to stunt to women that you got a nice car and a big Rolex, man. Right here, Liam Bailey is the opposite side of to drug dealing that you don't see. You only see the glory it brings. You only see the riches. You only see you can afford to buy your kids things. Guess what? Liam Bailey was somebody's kid, man.
That's right.
That you gave drugs to. You gave Liam Bailey drugs so your kids can have a Gucci coat, man.
That's right.
So your kids can go to prom in the best outfit. You gave Liam Bailey drugs. You gave Liam Bailey a syringe so you can live like you're the Kardashians, man. This is the drug side to drug dealing that we don't see.
Friday, April 23rd of this year, he was living at provided accommodation at the Aston Hotel on Witten Road, following his release from jail a week earlier, the 16th of April.
So if you know anything about the UK, when you come out of jail, sometimes you have to live at a bail hostel. You have to live there. You have to, you're allowed to go out, but you have to be back there for a certain time so they can keep tabs on you. He was in one of them. Go ahead.
Carl, the 33-year-old was sentenced to a year and 9 months in prison in 2019 after targeting a Nisa shop in Whitnall Street 3 times to fund a crack cocaine addiction.
To do what?
To fund a crack cocaine addiction.
This man robbed that Nisa shop to fund a crack cocaine addiction, man. If black people wasn't selling crack cocaine, this man wouldn't rob the shop. You know why? Because he wouldn't have no one to go to for drugs, man. But as long as there's drug dealers, everything else beneath it spirals out of control. As long as there's drug dealers, guess what happens? The crime rate is going to go up, man. Because people are robbing things to be able to buy the drugs off you. If you're tired of the neighborhood being the way it is, stop selling drugs, man. If you're tired of all the crime and all the needles and use condoms and the prostitutes, stop selling drugs, man. Because most the prostitutes that you see walking around in Birmingham is what? Drug addicts, man. They're selling their body in order to pay for drugs. Now, you don't see that part of drug dealing. You just see the Mercedes, man. But guess what? The Lord sees that part, man. The Lord sees the misery you cause everybody else's life. The Lord sees that, okay, you're in your BMW, but Liam Bailey's on the floor with a needle in his arm, man. The Lord sees Liam Bailey. Liam Bailey's blood is crying out from the earth, man. You're the cause of that injustice. You're the cause of this man taking drugs. Because if you wasn't selling drugs, he wouldn't be able to buy drugs, man. He can only buy what you're selling. Read on.
After regaining his freedom, Mr. Bailey was, a coroner's report said, positive about his future, with no worries over relapsing.
With no worries over relapsing, man. Whereas you're supposed to help him not relapse. You see him, man, that's just £20 to you, man. This black man's life is just £20 to you. He's just a shot to you. He's just a one-on-one to you, man. It's just a sale to you. You don't see him as, a brother, and who knows if it was brother selling drugs. Personally, I believe it was East Indians, to be fair. Because they're like the biggest drug dealers in Aston, man. East Indians probably selling the brother drugs, man. The same people that Priti Patel wants to bring over to the UK, man, is going to become drug dealers, them Afghanistans, man. Read on.
And planned to register with his GP. But he also told his probation officer he was struggling to adjust to life outside of prison 3 days before his body was found. Mr. Bailey, who lived in Keats Road, Willenhall before prison, was last seen alive on April 22nd when witnesses said he appeared intoxicated.
Why? Because he's had drugs, man.
He was found dead in his room 5 of the hotel. He was found dead in room 5 of the hotel during a welfare check the following evening.
He was found dead in his hotel room, man. Probably can drop that out. That's the opposite side to drug dealing, man. This man was found dead in his room, man. And you know what? I read them comments, and everyone was in the comments gunning him, man. White people was gunning him because they don't understand what our life's like, man. Now, as black people, you don't just one day start a drug addict, man. Usually things happen in your life, and then your life spirals out of control, and then it's some sort of trauma you're dealing with, and then you're trying to block out the trauma, and then before you know it, you're taking drugs, man. First you start with alcohol, that stops working for you. You move up to weed, that stops working for you, and then you have to keep going higher up, man, and up in the dose until one day you're found dead with a syringe in your arm, man. And this is our life. But white people won't understand it, man. They won't understand it, man. Like, they live a nice, cushy life. Their life's so good that before I came to class, I was watching The Chase, man, and they asked the question on The Chase. They said, what? They said, I can't remember. They said, what tin food is known as bully beef? And white people couldn't answer, man. You know why, isn't it? There you go, corned beef, because white, that's our life, man. And listen, I knew why the white people couldn't answer, because they never sat down and had corned beef for dinner, man. What do you have it with? Hard bread? Bread. The cabbage. You know what? Black people may turn that into an excellent dish, man. You season it up with your onions, you fry it up, and what else do you have with it? And listen, man, it tasted good, man. We would have corned beef for dinner, man. You have that with hard-boiled bread, because that's all your parents could afford. How much does it go for now? Is that all? Serious. Find out how much corned beef is. I don't think I eat it now though, unless you had it.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I think it's salt. I think it's too salty. Salty, isn't it? They must do that to preserve it or something, but I don't know. We're gonna find out how much kind of corned beef costs nowadays. Listen, us black people lived off this, man. You got on. Some as the corned beef slice is 150. So corned beef's about £2, man. And that's what we lived off, man. Growing up black, man. That's what we lived off. I'm surprised it's not. I'm surprised it doesn't say it in the Bible, man. I'm surprised that's not in the curses, man. I'm surprised corned beef ain't in the curses, man. That you're gonna eat corned beef, man. Listen, that's what we was living off. Corned beef and white rice. Personally, I think when you mash it up with the rice, it tastes all right. Don't you think?
I can't fuck with it. The sea makes me feel sick, man. I can't bear to see
No,
this
you
shit.
mash it up with the rice.
But with cabbage in it. Cabbage.
I just remember the onions, you know.
I remember they put corn on top of corned beef. Oh, it's too much. This feels sick, man. I can't bear to
It tastes
see.
all right with the rice, though. You mix it up with the rice, and that was like the little dish. Like, obviously, without saying you're poor, you know you're poor if you was eating corned beef, man. And we all been there. Most black people can say, yeah, I've had corned beef for dinner a few times. Whereas back in the days, we was ashamed to say these things, man. Imagine I'm ashamed to tell you that I'm having corned beef for dinner, and you're having corned beef for dinner as well. We're both ashamed, making that like we're having big. Listen, I'm thinking you're having big dinners at home. I'm thinking you're having steak at home when you're eating corned beef just like me, man. You're eating corned beef just like me, but we lie to each other. And yo, I had steak last night, man. Yeah, man, the finest steak last night. When really we had corned beef, man. Or chicken back or whatever. What else do we have that's cheap? Cow tongue, chicken foot and cow tongue and all of them things. The cow tongue looks you seen it? You ever tried it? Cow tongue? People bite into the tripe and everything. These is poor man's food, man. Sorry, yeah. You ever had it? It's disgusting, man. Liver and see the things that we eat, man, is things that the white man wouldn't eat. Like he eats the flesh, like the good part. Like the chicken, he eats the fat parts of the chicken, man. He eats the meat of it, man. And then what do you get? The feet. Because the white man the feet is scraps. So he would throw the feet in the bin, and then you would go and take the feet out the bin. And then now we have chicken foot soup, man. We put it in our soup. You just cut the toenails off. You cut the nails off. You wash them, and then the way people eat it, they suck the skin off the feet, man. How hungry do you have to be to do that? And then over time, it just became our tradition that now your grandma will give you chicken foot and what managed water. Managed water. Goat's head in it. Goat's head, yeah. You ever tried that as well? What's it taste like? Soup. It tastes like soup.
Like there's no meat on the head or whatnot. So basically, like you eat the whole. See, an animal, you eat everything. Nothing gets left. So
Off the head.
Not like that. You eat the whole animal, everything. So it's like even chicken back's bony, it's spine, but niggas will eat that because we eat it. And for not only will niggas eat it, niggas will actually go and buy it. Like we go butcher say, have chicken back, and like butcher's looking at you like, you thought what's chicken back, but he'll sell it to you for cheap.
You still have it in there now?
Yeah, but it's at the point now where it's culture now, innit? So now we actually like chicken back, but it started off with like, who wants this? Safe, sell man for cheap. But yeah, you can buy chicken back this day. There's pure bones and that. You're spitting out bones out your mouth. It's pieces and pieces.
Right. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But, where was we? Yeah, 14. 16, I believe.
Proverbs 14 and 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident.
Read that one more time.
So okay, a wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident.
A wise man departs from evil, but a fool rageth and is confident, man. A fool wants to join the evil, and a fool doesn't depart from evil, man. A fool will put himself in a ton of problems. We've seen people die because of their rage, man. You get angry at the wrong person, they will kill you, man. A fool, a wise man fear from depart from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Verse 17, so here. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly.
When a man that can't control his emotions deals foolishly, man. A man that can't control his emotions thinks he can take on the whole world, man. Wants to fight everybody, wants to attack everybody. Listen, man. Some people have been killed off of acting foolishly, man. Listen, man. Everyone's seen that video when King Von got shot. You seen that video when King Von got shot? Why he acted foolishly that day, man. He's jumped out the car and punched someone in the face, man. You can't go to someone's neighborhood and behave like that, man. When you act out of emotions, you don't even understand your surroundings, man. You don't even understand what's going on around you when you act based off emotions. And listen, man, brothers died who, could have been here if they didn't act foolishly. Like Proverbs is a book of wise sayings. If brothers followed these sayings, we would live a lot longer and we would be a lot wiser. We would enter every situation more wise than we do. We just enter situations angry, mad at the world. And what happens? We have to pay for it, man. Because when you get angry with someone, there's someone that might be angrier than you, man. That might have backup with them. While you storming their head first, not even scouted everything out. Listen, man. You're in the next man's city where they carry guns, man. And you think you're just going to punch someone in the face and it's not going to happen, man. The Bible says, he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. When you're angry, you make foolish decisions, man. About everything. When you're angry, you say certain things. And then when you calm down, you regret it. And guess what? That person is going to remember what you said, man. They're going to remember that's how you thought about them. Like sometimes you have a disagreement with someone and then people start getting personal. Whereas, okay, that's how you really felt all along. Whereas, okay, then why can't we just disagree and leave it at that? But you start getting personal, man. Oh, well, you do this, you do that. People start getting super personal, man. When there's no need, man. Why? Because when you're angry, you deal it foolishly. Go ahead.
A man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge.
Listen, man. These times you want to be a crown of knowledge, man. You want to know how to diffuse situations, how to go about certain situations. Like you don't want to do certain things because when you operate out of anger, when you calm down, you can't tell the judge, well, I killed him, but I'll calm down now. You can't say to the judge, yeah, I killed him, but calm down now. The judge, it doesn't work like that, man. You can't go to court and say, well, at the time I was angry. That's what children do. Why did you do this? Oh, I was angry. Children punch holes in their wall. Why did you do this? I was angry. Not my children, man. They ain't punching no holes in the wall, man. None. But some people's children punch the wall and the parents always like, don't worry, let him get his frustrations out. And then what happens? Those same children end up getting older, going outside and trying to punch other people's kids, man. And who knows, the other kid might just give them a beating, man. Remember, the wall doesn't hit back. The wall ain't going to hit back. The wall's just going to be marked up. But other people do hit back. So you acting out of anger, man, when you could just talk about certain situations. And because when we're growing up, we're allowed to punch the walls and mash the whole house up and slam doors and do all of that nonsense. And our parents say, oh, don't worry, he's just venting his frustration and his anger. These same ones went later on in life to pick up knives and don't worry, he's just venting his anger and his frustration. And then somebody else's child has to die, man, because your child's just venting his anger and his frustration, man. Whereas if you pulled him up and discipline them, you're not going to do that. Think about what you're doing, man. Don't operate off of emotions. Because when they calm down, they mess up their room. And what happens when they calm down? They tidy the room up, man. They tidy the room up after they calm down. Understand this. After you take a man's life, you can't resuscitate him, man. After a man's dead and you calm down, you can't go resuscitate him. You can't go get the defibrillator. Is that you say? You can't go get the what is it, defib? You can't get the defib and pull it on his chest and bring him back. So it's very good to start your children off from young not to operate out of emotions, not to operate out of anger. I'll teach my children that, and you teach your children that also. So when they get older, they're not killing each other, man, over something little, over them venting their frustration, man. How about you teach your children, and I'll teach mine, and then we all can live together happily ever after, man. We can all live together happily ever after, and then we can, have our kingdom where no Afghans is going to be allowed. Listen, man, in our kingdom, these Afghans trying to run saying, "Oh, we want refuge in our land." It's going to be a no, man. You ain't getting no refuge in our land, man. That's for us. Basically, people are saying it's cruel because, basically what they're saying is the Taliban want Sharia law, and Sharia law is what? If you steal, they cut your hands off. Then ain't you lot supposed to be Muslims and ain't stealing wrong? If you're not a thief, you don't need to worry about getting your hand cut off. Listen, Afghans, go live with the Taliban, man. You go live with the Taliban, and you follow Sharia law, because I'm sure that's their religion, right? I'm sure. It sounds to me like the Taliban is following Islam better than these ones trying to run from what they're meant to believe. The thing is this, man. Go live with the Taliban, man. Go become the Taliban. Why do they have to bother us?
We just got rid of the Polish with Brexit, man. I thought, yes, no Romanians. And then they go and take on what, 25? 20,000, man. They're gonna end up right in Brum, man. I can't bear to see us. They're
gonna end up right in Birmingham, man. And guess what? Eventually, they're gonna get a shop, and the Muslims over here are gonna take them in, especially black Muslims. They're gonna worship. Listen, I seen no word of a lie. I seen a list today. I saw a list, and it was talking about what countries to pray for. It had what did it have? It had Saudi Arabia on there, Palestine. It had Afghanistan. It had Nigeria and some next countries. I didn't see Haiti on there though. After what they went through the other day, how come Priti Patel ain't taking some of them over here, man? Why ain't Priti Patel saying, okay, we're going to take some of the Haitians because, over there is high risk and they keep getting hurricanes? She ain't said a word, man, but she's willing to take in these Afghanistans, man, which lets you know we have to build our own kingdom, man. We have to love our own people and take care of our own people, because England ain't sending no relief to them places. They tell you they are, but they're not, man. Meanwhile, already they're passing laws to take in Afghans, and then before you know it, what's going to happen is everybody over here is going to hate the Afghans, and then they're going to pass a law that you can't touch them and you can't speak bad about them because they're an oppressed people. They're an oppressed people, and they need all the support they can get. Like black people's not an oppressed people. Like we don't need all the support we can get. We need all the support we can get, man, and nobody supports us. And this is why the Bible says what? A nation not desired. Because if you lived in Afghanistan, on the certain rule, man, you wouldn't be coming nowhere. They wouldn't say, you know what, let's go get them Caribbean people. Let's go get them Caribbean people from the garrisons, man. They wouldn't say that, man. You're living on there. What's that Jamaican gangster's name again? There was a Jamaican gangster. What's his name? He was. They say he was like semi-good. They say he was good to the people. There was a next one though. Nah, that was his father in it. The one that they burnt in the prison, but they lied and said he caught on fire. Listen, man, they burnt him alive, man. I can't remember his name. Nah, he doesn't run the country like that, but he runs certain parts of it. But let's say there was a big Jamaican gangster took over the whole of Jamaica. They would never bring all the users to England, man. They would leave you right there, and they would say, well, that's a Jamaican problem. That's what they would say, man. Go ahead, you can see.
Yeah, homosexuals in Jamaica, they're oppressed, should I say. They're in fear of their life. England don't bring them over, and they're homosexuals, so luck, yeah.
And they're scared for their life, man. They're scared for their life, and they can't get nothing. But the Afghanistans get everything, man. And then they're going to come here and take, listen, this is what the white man says, they're coming and taking our jobs. These Afghans is going to take your jobs, man. What they're going to do is set up a car wash. We all know. They're going to set up a car wash. They're going to set up an Afghan store. We all know what they're going to do. And then what are we going to have? Nothing. What are we going to have? We're still going to be going to mosque and still going to be going to church. Amongst the Afghanistans, and they don't even respect you or rate you, man. It's mad that a man can come from a country which is like what, third world or poor country, and he believes is better than you, man. They actually believe they're better than you. And this is why we should never join them and mingle with them. Because the Bible says, gather yourselves together, man. Oh, nation not desired. We ain't desired, man. But the Arabs are desired. The Afghanistans are desired. They all stick together, man. They love one another. They're all talking about, yeah, pray for Afghanistan. And when have they ever prayed for you, man? They don't pray for you. They don't even think of praying for you. They don't even mention praying for you. Because they hate black people, man. And it's evident. And this is why a charter flight was sent back to Jamaica last week. The woman said that the people from the office who came to arrest her husband roughed him up, man. Roughed him up. And they said some black people who's never seen Jamaica or from they was young, they was trying to commit suicide while they was in the place, man. Because they ain't never seen Jamaica. Usually a man would say, you know what? Five extra Jamaicans doesn't make a difference. But they're willing to bring 20,000 Afghanistans, man. When they could have just left them 5 Jamaicans, man. And this is why we shouldn't pray for anybody else. We shouldn't care for anybody else. Because listen, they've got enough love. They've got enough people to care for them. But as for you, who cares for you? Nobody, man. That's why the Bible says, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We can drop that. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Listen, I could go on about the Afghanistans all day, man. Great Britain going on like they care about the Afghanistans, like they didn't, like Great Britain didn't invade Afghanistan, man. Like they didn't invade it. Like multiple times, man. Before 9/11 and all them things, they was raiding it from like what? Late 1800s or something. Those raiding it. Don't let them lie to you about, oh, we love everybody. England don't, man. England is a country that oppresses everybody, man. And then times like this, they pretend that they love everybody. Listen, man, don't fall for it, man. But what we should learn from this is England don't love us, man. That's what we should learn from this. That England don't love us, and it's never going to love us. How much years are we going to wait and think, okay, England loves me now? How much years must we wait? How much time must we wait? England don't love us, and it never will, man. We've waited long enough to see if, England's going to have a change of heart. And has it had a change of heart yet? No. So we're going to go back on topic. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1.
1 Corinthians 10 and 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye shall be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
So now all our fathers was under that chariot that they followed, man. When they came out of Egypt, all of us, every black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians' fathers was under that cloud. How do you know they was under there? Because you're here today, man. If they wasn't under there, you wouldn't be here today. So you're part of that as well. So Paul's letting you know something, man. All of them was under that chariot that they followed, which turned into a pillar of fire by night. They followed it through the wilderness. Why? Because it was pitch black and they needed that light to see, man. So they followed the light. Go ahead.
And all passed through the sea.
And all did what?
Passed through the sea.
And all passed through the sea, man. All passed through the Red Sea. When Moses split the Red Sea in half, they passed through it, man. All of them. And the ones who tried to come in the Red Sea, who wasn't Israelites, drowned. So this is why it says all our fathers passed through the Red Sea. Them Egyptians didn't pass through the Red Sea with us, man. They drowned. They came through. It was like a wall on both sides to us. So much that you could touch it, and it's like a wall. And then to the Egyptians, it was like water. So the Lord split the Red Sea, and we walked right across it, man. Go ahead.
And did eat the same spiritual meat.
We ate the same things, received the same things. Why? Because we was all in this wilderness together. Go ahead.
And did drink that same spiritual drink. They drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Yahushua.
I'm just letting you know, man. We drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Yahushua. Yahushai. And also, we all drank that water from that rock that Salakia almost said that Moses didn't make the kingdom for that, for saying for Moses thinking that he's telling the people, should I bring you water? When the glory was meant to go to the Lord, he was meant to say, the Lord's giving you water from this rock. But Moses said, should I split the rock? And then obviously that got the Lord mad, and that's why Moses didn't make the kingdom. That's why Moses couldn't walk into the kingdom. Moses had to die in the plains of Moab. I believe Moses died in the plains of Moab. And then obviously Satan and Michael disputed over his bones, and then Michael won and they brought his bones with them into the land. Because why? Satan wanted to tell the Lord, Moses ain't worthy. Look what he did. He don't deserve to be buried in that holy land. Leave him right here. And then Michael contended for the bones of Moses. That's what it tells you in I believe that one's in the New Testament somewhere. I believe it's in Jude or Peter somewhere, but read on.
But with many of them, the Most High was not pleased.
So now it says with many of them, God wasn't pleased. So we need to learn from what God wasn't pleased about. We need to learn from why wasn't he pleased. So we need to see what they was doing that displeased the Lord, so we don't do the same things. Because if the Lord was displeased at what they was doing, if we're doing the same things, then surely the Lord's displeased at what we're doing. Go ahead.
For they were overthrown in the wilderness.
So what?
They were overthrown in the wilderness.
And many of them was overthrown in the wilderness, meaning they died in the wilderness. Why? I'm gonna tell you why some of them died. Because they didn't want to be in the truth, man. They wanted to follow some fake Israelite called Korah, man. Many of them wanted to follow him. And what happened to them? They died in the wilderness. The ground opened up. They sunk in the sand, man. They died, man. Why? Because they wanted to follow some fake Israelite who the Lord didn't set up, man. Let that be a lesson to you that you shouldn't be following no fake Israelite, man. Because the verse says the Lord was displeased. Read that verse again.
But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased.
If you're sitting in any Israelite group and you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, the Lord is what?
Not well pleased.
The Lord ain't pleased with you sitting in some next Israelite group, man. Why? Because the Lord wasn't pleased with Korah setting up an Israelite group in the wilderness, saying, "Yo, we'll do our thing and you do yours." The Lord wasn't pleased with it, man. And how you know the Lord wasn't pleased with it? Because he opened up the ground. Read on. And now the Lord's shown you mercy so much that you can hear the wrongs of your doings and decide to leave that fake Israelite group, man. You can hear the wrongs of what you're doing and leave the mosque and leave the church and come into the truth. Whereas those men there who believe Korah had the truth, they had to learn the hard way, man. They didn't get the chance that you get. They didn't get to sit on YouTube and watch a million different Israelite groups and compare them and pick and choose what breakdowns you like. They didn't have the chance to do all that. They had to make a decision. Are you with Moses? Come on this side. Are you with Korah? Go on that side. It was that simple, man. Told them. And they chose that side. And what happened? The earth opened up. Read on.
For they were overthrown in the wilderness.
They was overthrown in the wilderness for displeasing the Lord, man. Let that be a lesson to not sit up in some Christian church, to not sit up in some mosque, because you'll be overthrown, man. Read on.
For they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were for examples.
These things were what?
Were our examples, like
These things are our examples. Let that be our examples, man. Things that you read in the scriptures, let it be your example. Let it be an example to you of why you shouldn't do it, man. Of why you shouldn't be anywhere else other than the I.S.U.P.K. Let that be an example, man. We ain't just breaking down these precepts for no reason and to waste our time. We're breaking these things down so you see the correlation, man, of what was going on then and what's going on now. And what was going on then, let it be an example of why you should sit up in them places, man. Read on.
To the intent we should not lust after evil things.
To what?
To the intent we should not lust after evil things.
And it says that we shouldn't lust after evil things, man. We shouldn't lust after evil things, because that's what we was doing in the wilderness, man. Lusting after evil things. And we had to be overthrown for it, man. We was lost in for the life of a drug dealer, man. We was lost in for the life of Megan the Stallion, man. We was lost in for those things in the wilderness, man. And then now we lost for them right now. And what Paul's saying is, don't lust after evil things. There's so many of our forefathers who was in the wilderness, who came under that cloud, who walked through the Red Sea, who drank of that spiritual rock, which was Christ. They did all those things. And they seen it all as well. Imagine they seen the Red Sea split. They seen the chariot of a fire by night. And they still lusted after things that wasn't right, man. And this is why you thinking, oh, maybe my breakdowns ain't good enough as to why this man doesn't believe in the Bible. Listen, man, those niggas that seen all these signs and still didn't believe in it, man. They walked through the Red Sea and still wanted to go worship a golden calf. They had no water, thought there was gonna flipping die off first, got water, and still started lusting after evil and whatnot. So it's nothing to do with your breakdowns, man. Like, you don't need to jump for a hoop backwards, man. You don't have to jump for a hoop backwards to convince someone to believe in God. You can, because they're still not going to believe you, man. Like, there's some people, I don't know what they want me to do. Like, someone will ask me, so why does the Bible say this? I break it down to them and they don't want to accept the answer. Like, what do you want? I mean, do you want me to pull a white rabbit out of a hat? I mean, what must I do? Should I get a magician hat and pull a rabbit out? Would that make you believe? They still won't believe, man. Even if I pulled a rabbit out of a hat, man, they still wouldn't believe. So it's nothing to do with your breakdowns. It's because, like the Bible says, my sheep hear my voice. And not everybody is a sheep, man. So don't get upset that nobody's not listening. If you're breaking it down and someone ain't listening, then stop breaking it down, man. Don't tire yourself out, man, because you're gonna burn yourself out. When you're new in the truth, you often burn yourself out, man, trying to get your whole family to believe, and they're not understanding it, and then you start getting all upset, man. Listen, man. My family already know if they need any breakdowns, where to find me. I don't go around them giving them breakdowns no more. They know where to find me, man. You want a breakdown, you better chase me now, man. I'm not going to come there and give you all these breakdowns knowing that you don't want them. What I'm going to do is come to class and break it down for people who want the breakdowns, man. Right. I ain't going to go there, sit down with my Bible out because the Bible says blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, you're just burning yourself out. If that's how you feel, you come in the I.S.U.P.K and you can teach a 2-hour class a week, man. You can teach a class. Listen, man, you come in the I.S.U.P.K, I'll get up off this chair and I'll let you teach the class, man. You can teach the class, man, instead of you just trying to break it down to people that don't want to receive it. How about I give you a seat? We give you a seat in here where you can break it down to people that want to receive it, man. That's right. People that log on, bang on time, waiting to receive it, man. Instead of you sitting there and breaking it down to people that couldn't care less. People that just call you weird when you leave. And listen, man, they've got the right to call you weird. You know why? Because you keep forcing something on them that they don't want, man. They don't want it. You're thinking, oh, I'm doing the work of the Lord, so I'm forcing this breakdown on them. I'm forcing it on them. Listen, man. How about you don't give them it if they don't want it, man? And then when their life gets jammed up, guess what? They will be looking for you. When a Jehovah's Witness knocks their door, they will be looking for you. Listen, man. Let them come to you. You give them the breakdown. You let them know who you are, where you at. And if they're not listening, you've done your part, man. You've got the blood off your hands. You've told them what they need to do. But don't be wasting your whole day trying to break it down to people that don't want it. Go ahead.
To the intent, we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters.
Neither what?
Be ye idolaters.
Neither be ye Muslims, man.
That's right.
There's no Muslims. It says, neither be ye idolaters, man. That's what Muslims are, idolaters, man. They bow down in front of a rock, man. Listen, man. The Taliban didn't conquer Afghanistan by staring at Iraq all day, man. They had to actually do some work to get Afghanistan, man. Instead of worshipping some idol, man, conquering a rock. And we should not be idolaters. Why? Because in the wilderness, there was idolaters. They made a golden calf. And started dancing around it and said, these be the gods that delivered us out of Egypt. Meanwhile, the Lord told them I'm the Lord your God. He told them that, man. Moses said, who should I say he is? Moses went and told the people, man, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then they went and gave all the credit to a golden calf. So much that while Moses was, couldn't even put his feet up, man. Moses receiving the commandments and whatnot, that the Lord had to send him down quickly, man, and say, look at what these people are doing. So Moses had to go down and get them to destroy the calf because they pressured Aaron into allowing them to make it, man. They pressed upon him and kept going. And let that be a lesson to not let people press upon you, man. Because people will do it. Christianity and you going to church and they'll press upon you, man. So much that you feel like you're the weird one. So much that you feel like you have to give in. So much that you feel like you have to celebrate Valentine's Day, man. Your woman sitting there crying on Valentine's Day and you love her and you feel bad because everybody else is getting teddy bears and then you give in, man. You give in. Don't worry, man. We see her posting the heart balloon on February the 14th. You saying you don't celebrate, but we see you in the picture. We see your name on the balloon and whatnot. Talking about Happy Valentine's Day. We see the Valentine's Day card. Don't give in, man. Don't give in to that nonsense. Read on.
Khan. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
Idolaters, they sat down to eat and drink. In the name of today, you sit down to eat and drink in what? The name of Christmas, the name of Easter, and all of those things. You sit down and I'm buying the kids these toys for Christmas. I'm buying the kids these toys for their birthday, this and that. Listen, man, I've been in the truth so long that when it's my kids' birthdays, I don't even remember, man. I don't even remember, man, until I see a birth certificate. Listen, I'll be on the phone, man. They'll be saying, what's the kid's date of birth? I'm thinking, damn, I can't even remember. They must be thinking, what kind of father is this that doesn't remember his kids' birthdays, man? It's because we don't celebrate them, man. It's just a normal day to us. On the phone, they look at you. Hey, listen, they look at you weird. Like you go to the doctors, they ask for the date of birth and you don't remember. They're looking at you like, well, damn, what kind of father are you? This world forces you to remember stuff that really you don't really have to remember like that. But obviously remember the date that they're born because you might need it for the passport office, for security questions. You can't be guessing saying the 15th or the 16th. They're going to look at you like, this man probably ain't even the father, man.
My son's getting his passport in it. So they phone me, asking security questions, and for the life of me, I can remember. They said, what's the date of birth? Mine went blank. And they go, okay, we call his mum instead. I was like, cool.
They must have been thinking, damn. Because in the world, a birthday is a big thing and you're meant to remember. Whereas with us, we don't remember them things, man. Listen, man, we got bigger issues, man. Who cares about birthdays, man? We got bigger issues, man. We got 20,000 Afghanistans coming to England, man. How can I be happy? How can I have a happy birthday in there's Afghanistans in England, man? I can't have a happy birthday as long as there's 20,000 Afghanistans in England, man.
Come. Never let us commit fornication, as some of them committed.
Some of them committed fornication, which is what? Unlawful sex, man. That's what it is. Fornication is what you find in Leviticus, the 18th chapter. It's like incest and those things. So everything you find in Leviticus, the 18th chapter, that is fornication. And at the start of that chapter, the Lord said, don't do as the Egyptians, and then gave us a rundown of what the Egyptians were doing. Why? Because the Egyptians were having sex with their mother, sex with their sisters, men with men, all of those kind of things, man. They was doing those kind of things, man. Egyptians was doing things which I seen, I don't know if it's a brother or not, I seen him in the paper for some rape case and all this nonsense, man. That's the things that Egyptians do, man. It's in Egyptians' nature to be sexual deviants, man. To be sexually immoral. It's in their nature to do those things, and we ain't supposed to do them things, man. Read on.
Neither be idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, The people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
And there was partying, singing, and dancing. Listen, you know how Israel gets down, man? You had all the Israelites in the wilderness rose up to play, man. You had Judites all there partying, man. Benjamin jumping off whatever was in the wilderness, man. I doubt they'll speak about Benjamin is jumping off something, man. They rose up to play, man. Imagine the Lord looks down, man, and he sees Benjamin jumping off speakers, man. Imagine that. Moses looks down when he sees Benjamin jumping off speakers, man. Moses had to go down in a hurry, man. See, yo, the party's over. Read on. Benjamin daggered women and whatnot, man. Jumping off everything. Moses had to go down, man, and say, yo, get rid of these idols away. And Paul's letting you know right now what they was doing. Paul said these is examples of what we shouldn't do. Things that we should never do. Read on.
As some of them committed and fell in one day, 23,000.
23,000 fell in one day, man. 23,000 fell in one day, man. Just imagine that. All because why? We wanted to do things that annoyed the Lord. So we should stop doing those things that annoy the Lord if we don't want to fall also. Read on.
Neither let us tempt Yahushua, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents.
And then they tempted the Lord, man. It says, neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted. And it says, and were destroyed of serpents. So what happened? The Lord sent fiery serpents amongst the people. In, I believe, Numbers chapter 21. The Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, man. And the serpents bit the people. And it says, much people of Israel died. So then, what did Moses do? Make a brass serpent and raised it up. And then this is why Christ referred to it in John 3:16. Why? Because the people was dying, man, and the people needed a way to not die. And the Lord told them make a brass serpent, and whoever looks on it and believes, they're not going to die. And Christ was lifted up the same way that whoever looks on him and believes is not going to die. Now, Christ was lifted up for the children of Israel. The brass serpent was also lifted up for the children of Israel, man. They weren't lifted up for nobody else. Why? Because the Egyptians was already dead in the Red Sea somewhere, man.
That's right.
Everybody else was in their own lands doing whatever. Whereas we was in this wilderness wandering around, man. Only we was there, and they lifted up the brass serpent for us, man. And when Christ was speaking with Nicodemus, Christ was running back what was written down in Numbers, the 21st chapter. And when it says here, neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted. The reason it says that is why? Because the Bible lets you know that Christ comes in the volume of the book, man. Christ said, I'll come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. So many Old Testament Israelites believe that things in the Old Testament only pertains to King David and whatnot. Most of them is manifold, which means many folds. It folds many ways, which means there's many folds to it. Like you take a towel, you can make many folds. That's what manifold means. So now you read in the Old Testament about David saying, "The pierced my hands and feet," and also Christ's hands and feet was pierced also.
That's right.
Whereas Old Testament Israelites say, "Oh, that was just only talking about King David," because they don't understand that Christ comes in the volume of the book. So you're going to read about things in the Old Testament which also pertains to Christ, man. Why? Because it's manifold, and like Christ said, I come in the volume of the book. So that's why you'll see tons of things in the Old Testament. The Old Testament Israelites will say, well, this was talking about Hezekiah. This was talking about Hosea. Listen, man. That's what they were tired. Not realizing that many of those things also pertain to Christ. Whereas with the Bible, those things that happened in the Bible, they also pertain to us, man. What we read of in the Bible, which happened way back then, we use it today. It also pertains to us, man. Same like when we read in the book of Lamentations, the hunt our steps. Now, I could say, if Old Testament Israelites, that means they would be saying that doesn't pertain to us today, when it does pertain to us, man. Because our oppressors hunted their steps, and they also hunt our steps right now in 2021, man. Way after the Bible's written, they still hunt our steps. Now, we read that precept, and that precept pertains to Mark Duggan, man. Right. It pertains to Jermaine Baker.
That's right.
So you can't just see a precept and say, oh, that only pertains to Hezekiah. If that's the case, there's no point you reading the Bible, because that would mean the whole Bible's past tense, man. That means it's all past. If we go based on what you're saying, but it's manifold, man. It pertains to back then and today. Read on. But obviously, most Old Testament Israelites wouldn't know that, man. They wouldn't know that. Is there even any in the UK here? I'm sure there's a few. There's a few in the UK, man, and they don't know a thing, man. Honestly, they don't know a thing. I pity them. I don't even know if they ain't even worth battling. I pity them. Their lack of understanding, man. They don't know anything, man. Read on.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured.
Some of them murmured and we destroyed them. Some of them murmured against Moses. Moses took us out to the wilderness to die. The Lord took us to the wilderness to die. So much that some of them wanted to just go back to Egypt and be a good slave in Egypt. They thought, you know what? We've been in Egypt 400 years, and living under our oppressors makes our life easier. Because, you know, they control everything, and all we have to do is just show up to work. Working a 12-hour shift ain't that bad. Working 6 days a week, 7 days a week ain't that bad. I'd rather be a slave than a free man. That's the mindset that we had. They weakened us down in that place, man. They made us become weak in that place. Go ahead.
And were destroyed by the destroyer.
And we're destroyed by the destroyer, man. Listen, the Lord has destroyers, man. The Lord, it says in the book of Proverbs or Psalms or one of them, the Lord has angels that are evil. He sends evil angels that appease his wrath. They're the destroyer, man. Them evil angels, their job is to destroy things, man. The Lord says, yo, go and destroy this person. They go and do it, man. They go and do it because their job is to be the destroyer, man. You're thinking all these angels is just have nappies on and he's like Cupid and shooting arrows, man. Nah, man. The Lord has angels that can destroy you any way he sees fit, man. Read on.
Now all these things happen unto them for as ensamples.
All these things happen unto them. Listen, it had to happen to somebody. It's a luck. It had to happen to somebody. Sometimes brothers have to be used as examples. It has to happen to somebody. All these ensamples happen to them. Go ahead.
And they were written for our admonishment.
And listen, man, it was written so you can learn from it. Bad things had to happen for those 23,000 that fell in one day, man. They had to die that day. So later on, you can read it and maybe you can save your life and not die that way, man. I'm sorry. It had to be someone that was going to go through these punishments, man. So you can read it and it be an end samples, an admonition upon whom the ends of the world will come. So you don't have to go through them things, man. So you can be like, you know what? I've read what happened to them. Let me fix up.
That's right.
I've read what happened to them. I'm not going to lust after evil things because, you know, I've seen all these men die. I'm not going to worship idols because I've seen all these men die. Read on.
Upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
Listen, man. It says take heed lest you fall, man. That's what we need to do. Take heed lest we fall into all of that, man. Give me 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. And also any questions, type them in. We'll get to them. Lord.
2 Peter 2 and 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
It says, for if God spared not the angels that sinned. Now, Christians believe the angels who do the work of the Lord, they believe that this is talking about them. They believe that this is talking about the angels in heaven who's around the Lord. They believe this is talking about them when it's not, man. When it says if God spared not the angels that sinned, that's us, man. Angel, another word for angel is messenger, man. Is messenger. That's all the angel means, is a messenger. It says if God spared not the angels that sinned, go ahead.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
So if God spared not the angels that sinned, meaning what? His people, man, that broke his laws. He didn't spare them, his people that broke his laws, man. Go ahead.
but cast them down to hell.
Cast them down to a low position. And we are angels that have sinned who's been cast down to hell, man. Hell meaning a low condition, not no fiery place under the earth. Have been cast down to hell, meaning what? Once upon a time, we was high up, man. We was high up ruling the earth. And then we've been cast down to hell in a low condition. Go ahead. Dying in hotels with needles in our arm. That's how, man. That's being cast down to hell. Go ahead.
Go on. And delivered them into chains of darkness.
And delivered them into chains of darkness. And most of our people is in chains of darkness. Most of them is chained up by this darkness, man. Meaning they can't see. They can't see the light, man. They can't see the truth. They're just in chains of darkness. They can't understand it. They can't comprehend it. They're just in chains of darkness. Go ahead. And there's a reason why some people are in chains of darkness. This is why some people's in chains of darkness. Go ahead.
Come. To be reserved unto judgment.
And some people are in chains of darkness, so they can be reserved unto judgment, man. The drug dealer that don't want to hear, he's in chains of darkness, so he can be reserved unto judgment. The day is going to come when he's going to get his judgment, man. Right now, what you're saying to him sounds like foolishness. Why? Because he's in chains of darkness. Until them sirens is behind him, man. Until them sirens is behind him, he's going to be like, where was the I.S.U.P.K guys that said they got a prison program? He's going to be in jail looking for this prison program, man. If he wakes up, some people just go to jail and not even want to find us. They'll just be in jail, do their time, and come out and do the same thing all over again until they get kidnapped by a next drug dealer or go through something, man. Some people are in chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. So some people are chained up, waiting for their day of judgment, and they don't even know it, man. They don't even know they're being reserved until the day of judgment. Read on. And tons of people in Noah's time was in chains of darkness, reserved unto judgment, and they got their judgment, man. You think a Mercedes meant anything when them floods came? That car would have floated away, man. You think them drugs and or the drip meant anything when the floods came? No, it didn't, man. You was trying to save your life, man. You was trying to save your life, and that water just what? Came over you, man. All them drugs you done sold couldn't save you from that water, man. All them whores you done pimped out and hoard out couldn't save you from that water, man. You couldn't stand on your money, man, to keep your head above the floodwaters, man. You couldn't put your money on the floor and stand on it to keep you above them floodwaters, man. Why? Because you was reserved unto judgment, and your judgment came, man. That's right. Because you didn't want to get down with the Lord. That's right. And their judgment came. And our judgment is going to come one day. And this is why we need to be in the truth and not be in chains of darkness, man. We need to take off the chains that this white man puts on us, man. We need to get rid of all this darkness that it gives us, making us believe that being a criminal is the way forward. We need to get them chains off our women's eyes, making them believe that, oh, the man that's the biggest gangster is the best man, and so forth. The man that's got the best car is the man to go with. What are you going to do when that man loses the car? What are you going to do? Go find somebody else. Listen, man. Our women in here is with us whether we're rich or poor, man. Them Christians talking about for richer, for poorer, man. That should be our word, man. In here, our women are with us for this richer, for poorer, man. Not in them fake weddings that you see. Because as soon as that man loses his job, he also loses the woman, man. You know what? I seen an article probably about a week or two ago. You might have to put that on the NDC. It's probably old enough from about a week ago. Dr. Dre's daughter. You see her? She's about 38 years old, and she's saying she's homeless because her father hasn't gave her money in 18 months. I'm thinking, damn, you're 38. I'm thinking, damn, you're a grown. I'm thinking, damn. Everyone's calling Dr. Dre evil. I understand you're a billionaire. Give your daughter some money, but at 38, come on, man. You know what? We'll discuss it on the end Friday. Everyone can phone in and let us know if he should be taking care of this of this grown-ass woman. Is she not a grown-ass woman at 38? Almost 40, man. Damn. What if your father wasn't Dr. Dre? What would you do? Would you get up and get a job? Anyway, I don't want to go off topic. Friday, but read on. Yeah, this is what she said. Can't give money in 18 months.
18 months is not that long.
Exactly.
So
And she said she's living in her car because he ain't gave her money in 18
just
months.
in a year and a bit.
Mhm.
How should she living for the other 37 years?
Why? I don't even know. She said she's living in her car and her children are staying with friends because she can't afford this.
Why don't she get all money? Just blaming him for not. You know what? Fuck it.
Everybody's gunning Dr. Dre, which, you know, I understand you're a billionaire. Even if he gives her what? $1 million, that would be all right, isn't it? Even if he gives her $1 million. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. Maybe Dr. Dre knows something we don't. Maybe she squanders the money. Who knows? But you know, we'll uncover it on Friday. On Friday, we're gonna do an investigation. We're gonna do a very in-depth investigation. If anything, you know, we're gonna try to get Dr. Dre on the show, but we're gonna try to get him on for Friday. But you know, get Dr. Dre on Friday. Log in 9 p.m. Friday on the ends. We might have Dr. Dre on as a guest, but read on.
And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, and Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
He saved Noah. Read that again.
It's like and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness.
Saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, man. And listen, in the I.S.U.P.K, you're a preacher of righteousness, and everyone says, "Oh, they're talking rubbish, they're talking garbage," but you're a preacher of righteousness, man. That's what you are, man. In the I.S.U.P.K, you're doing what Noah was doing, man. You're a preacher of righteousness, and don't let no one speak bad about you, man. Don't let no one belittle you, man. Don't let no one laugh you to scorn, man.
That's right.
Because you're a preacher of righteousness, and by you doing that, you will make it on the spiritual ark, man. I.S.U.P.K is the spiritual ark, and you better come in, man. The doors of the ark is open, man. You better come in, because times is gonna get hard, and the doors ain't gonna be open, man. Same like Noah's door was open until one day the Lord told Noah, "Go in the ark and close the door, man." Noah was in the ark with his wife and the animals, man. And guess what? The drug dealer wasn't on the ark. The murderer wasn't on the ark. The rapist wasn't on the ark. He was doing what? Floating down the stream, man. What was that? What's that kid's? Yeah, he was trying to row with some little boat. And listen, man, he didn't go gently down the stream. He went violently down the stream, man. And he disappeared, man. And that drug dealer no longer existed. So I say you come on in because this is the spiritual ark. Read on.
God. Sucker, a preacher of righteousness, bringing the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
And he brought on in the flood on the world of the ungodly. Everybody outside of what Noah was doing was living ungodly, man. They was living ungodly, and they had to die for it, man. They was reserved to the day of judgment, and their judgment came. And that's a sign for us that we shouldn't be ungodly unless we want to get washed away with the stream, man. Unless we want to die like all those other people died. Or you could be like Noah, man. You could be a preacher of righteousness, or you could be a drug dealer that gets washed down the stream. The decision's yours, man. Decisions. It's up to you, man. You get to choose whatever you want. You can either go down the stream, or you can be a preacher of righteousness like Noah was. That's what you can do. Be a preacher of righteousness like Noah was, man, who made it onto the ark while everybody else is drowning and screaming, man. Imagine when you're drowning, it's rough. Your mouth, your lungs, everything fills up with water, man. Your whole body fills up with water, and you're trying to breathe, man. Listen, going in water for a little bit, and you know when you hurt your nose, when the water goes in your nose, that hurts. So imagine drowning, man. Listen, that hurts. That makes your eyes water, man. Imagine how these people felt when they're drowning, man. They say that drowning is a horrible way to die, man. Imagine you're trying to breathe, and every time you're trying to breathe, you got water going in your nose, in your eyes is burning, and you're sinking, and you're trying, man. You're fighting, and you're drowning, man. I guarantee you, at the time you're drowning, at the time they was drowning, they was thinking, I should have listened to that preacher of righteousness, man. That preacher of righteousness warned us about these things, but we laughed at him. And now look at him. You look up and you see the ark getting further and further away, man. You're trying to swim towards it, and you're just not going to make it, man. I say you come through these doors. That's what I would do, but who am I to tell you anything? I'm just a preacher of righteousness. Who am I to tell you anything? Read on. You don't worry. You listen to somebody else if you want. Seek your own salvation. What people like to say. Don't worry. You seek your own salvation then.
Verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
And what?
Turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
Turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, man. He burnt up them cities. Why? Because them men were being homosexual, man. So it burnt up them cities, man. Read that one more time.
And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
And it overthrew them, man. Listen, you don't want that. You don't want that to be you. You don't want that to be you, man. You don't want to get overthrown. Read on.
Come on. And delivered just Lot.
And delivered just Lot. Because all the men in them cities, there was part of the problem, man. There was into homosexuality. They said, you know what? They was one of those people like everyone deserves to live their life. Let men be how they want to be. And now there's a new one. If you're not comfortable around the homosexual, people say that you're not sure of your sexuality. I hear that. That just sounds ridiculous, man. That's like me saying a man that doesn't like. I don't know. This sounds nonsense. So a man that doesn't want to be around homosexuals ain't comfortable with himself. He doesn't know what he is. Of course it is, man. He don't want to be around those kind of people because he knows that it's against God, man. But now they've tried to turn it and they've tried to twist it and make it like real gay now.
Yeah, it's like say, if I'm uncomfortable around thieves, something's wrong with me. Excuse me, I just don't want my shit took, man. Excuse me, man. I'm not comfortable around pedophiles neither.
Exactly. But now they're trying to make it like real gay now because we don't condone their behavior. They say if you was comfortable, you'd be able to be amongst them. No. That's a lie, man. That's a lie, man. We don't have to be amongst them, and we don't want to be amongst them, man. I prefer to be amongst the girls, man. That's what I prefer, man.
That's right.
I prefer to do that. I don't want to be amongst a man that likes men, man. You have him amongst you. I'm not having him amongst me, man. And it's my God-given right. I mean, if I don't want someone to be around me, do I not have my right? Is it not my God-given right to decide who I want to be around and who I don't? And those people, God said not to be around them, so I'm not going to be around them, man. And I wouldn't be around them anyway. I don't want to be around them. It's my God-given right. You know.
Just Lot vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Listen, man. Lot was vexed seeing men grabbing other men's behind and laughing, thinking it's a joke, man. Lot seen it, man. Lot was vexed with people saying, "Oh, Lot, you're not comfortable with your own sexuality. That's why you can't be around them." Listen, man. Lot was vexed with that conversation, man. Lot was vexed with two women kissing, man. Lot was vexed with it. Lot was vexed with people talking about, I want a threesome and this and that. Lot was vexed with them conversations, man. With the filthy conversation of the wicked, that Lot turned his nose up at it, man. Like we do today, we hear some conversations and be like, well, damn, that's disgusting, man. Don't worry, Lot felt that same way that we did. And because Lot felt that way, guess what? The Lord delivered him. Same like the Lord's gonna deliver us. Now, if you're part of that filthy conversation, you ain't gonna be delivered, man. Because we can't have that filthy conversation going on in our kingdom. Because before you know it, our kingdom will turn like this one. The whole point of us getting our kingdom is so it's nothing like this one, man. Because this one is disgusting. Read on.
Khan, for that righteous man dwelling among them in seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul.
He did what?
Vex his righteous soul.
Vexed his righteous soul, man. The stuff that we see and hear vexes our righteous soul, man. Some of the conversations we hear, like all of these songs at FM, then they get some money. That vexes our righteous soul, man. We hear that and we're like, well, damn. Women look at men as, I don't care about him, I just want his money. That vexes us, man. That all they want is money. Read on.
Khan, from day to day, with their unlawful deeds.
Day to day with their unlawful deeds. Lot had to see all this, man. Lot probably had neighbors next door to him. He could hear them in the nighttime, man. Imagine that. There's two men that live next door and you can hear them in the nighttime. That will vex you, man. You would want to leave that house, man. You would listen. You would have to drink to block it out, man. Imagine that. You would have to move house, and the house you move to, there's another homosexual that lives one on that side, one on that side, man. You can't get a break, man. That vexed Lot's righteous soul, man. I'd be vexed too.
The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation.
The Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation, man. Read on.
And to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment.
And he knows how to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Now, every what's that man's name? Is Mr. Fabulous's friend? Oh, he is the worstest one ever. His name's Gode, and oh God. Listen, man, if he don't repent, he's being reserved unto the day of judgment, man. What he needs to do is change his life, man. He needs to change his life, man. And contact this. Obviously, he's going to be on the Officer Shamgar in London. he's going to be on the Officer Shamgar in London. Birmingham's a bit too far for him to, He's going to be in London because obviously, Birmingham's a bit too far for him. So he's going to be in London. Read on. So God, if you're watching this, we got brothers in London. So don't worry about it. There's brothers in London. Obviously, Birmingham is how far from London? It's too far for you. It's too far. You be in London.
Especially the new congestion zone of that.
Yeah, with all the congestion. And don't worry, you just contact Officer Shamgar in London. So luck. Go ahead.
So like, yeah. To be punished, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh.
Yeah, that's it. So now, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment, man, to be punished. So we should learn from all these examples, man. We should learn from all of them why we shouldn't do certain things, man. Why? Because they was all punished. And if we're doing them same things now, we're going to be punished, man. It's something we shouldn't do. But we're going to drop that for time's sake. We're going to go to the book of Judges chapter 16 and verse 4.
Judges 16 and 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek.
So now, this is Samson. So now, we're going to show you why you don't ever give in to your woman, man. The Bible says what? Women's destroyed kings. Women have destroyed kings, man. Like kings have become weak over women, man, and destroyed themselves. If I can find that verse, I'll put it up later on. But go ahead.
Whose name was Delilah.
Yes, man. Samson met some Hamite called Delilah, and he loved her. And we're going to see what love made him do. Go ahead.
And the lords of the Philistines came.
So the governors of the Philistines, the rulers of the Philistines. Go ahead.
Came up unto her and said.
They came unto her, man. Go ahead.
Unto her, entice him.
And they said, entice him. And this is what will happen, man. Women will entice you, man. It happens to all these celebrities. They get enticed by women that get pregnant and then put them on child support, man. They get enticed by women that marry them and take half their money. Dr. Dre was enticed by a woman that looks like a man. By a woman that looks like a man. They said he's got to pay what? $200K a month in child support. $200K. No, I think it was more than that. It was more than that. His one was. I think he had to pay more than that in child support. Because he was enticed by some heathen woman, man. And when they see you, all they see is, how can I entice this man? How can I break this man down? Don't let no woman entice you, man. Read on.
And see wherein his great strength lieth.
And they entice you, and they want to see where your great strength lies, man. They wanted to see where Samson's great strength lies. Meaning, what they will do to you today is, what is your strength? They will destroy it, man. What you take your pride in joy in, what makes you strong, they will destroy it, man. Like, your strength is what? You being in the I.S.U.P.K brotherhood. You will let some woman come in and ruin that, man. Some woman will come in and ruin that. Some woman will come in and be like, oh, yeah, because the brothers that he was around, they looked at me funny. And then before you know it, you don't like that brother because what this woman said, man. Don't let some woman ruin you, man. especially if it's a heathen woman, what she would do is ruin you completely, man. Now, if you got her before the truth, it's still your rib. But obviously, don't let her dictate when you can go to camp and what you can and can't do, man. Don't let her say to you, oh, if you be around them brothers, I'm going to leave. And then you decide, well, I'm not going to be around the brothers. Don't do that, man. If she does say that, you don't say, you don't do that walk that Arthur does. You see the walk that Arthur does, isn't it? That elbow walk like this. You do that walk that Arthur does, man, and says, I'm going to be around the brothers, man. Don't let her dictate to you and take his strength, and then you become beneath her, man. Samson gave this woman his strength, man. This woman her job was to entice him. Not Solomon. Samson thought she loved him, and this woman enticed him, man. Found his weakness. Go ahead.
By what means we may prevail against him?
And they wanted to prevail against him. Because Samson was whipping them, man. Samson was destroying all of them every time they would come. He would destroy them. And they wanted to know, all right, then what's making him so strong? So then they got Delilah said, entice him. Samson loved this woman, claims he loved this woman, while she claims she loved him too. Go ahead.
That we may bind him and afflict him.
That what?
We may bind him and afflict him.
And listen, man. Women want to find out what makes you strong and destroy your strength. And guess what? Your enemies is just going to rule over you, man. They wanted to find out what his strength so they could bind him and afflict him. They wanted to harm him and so forth. They wanted to take him down, man, because he was whooping them. So then they said, find out where his strength is. So they got a woman to do it. And because women are powerful, man. Listen, women are powerful. Like women can manipulate brothers in so much ways, man. With their looks, with the way they talk. Listen, man. A woman can have you get out of bed at 2 a.m. in the morning, man. A woman can, send you a picture, send you a revealing picture, and you be in the car, vroom, vroom, going to her house, man. They can entice you, man. A woman that sometimes even a woman that you don't find attractive. On Snapchat, you get a purple snap. You be lying in bed, man. You know you ain't supposed to leave the house, but this woman can entice you to leave the house. You leave the house and go there, and she sets you up, man. You get set up. Why? Because you're thinking with your penis, man. Women can manipulate you in so many ways, and they're good at it. And this is why you need to be stronger than that, man. I said, you ain't going to entice me, man. Samson was strong physically, but when it came to women, that was his weakness, man. They found out what made him weak, found out what made him give in, kept pressuring him. And it wasn't the first time. What they do is they be persistent with it. Like you almost say, Valentine's Day. Every year she'll ask you about Valentine's Day. Until one day, you'll be like, oh, okay, let's do Valentine's Day. Then she's won, man. The amount of times that she asks you to do Valentine's Day is the amount of times you should tell her, no, F Valentine's Day. Keep it going, man. She ain't give up with her pursuit to make you celebrate Valentine's Day. You don't give up with your pursuit to make her not celebrate Valentine's Day, man. Don't let her be stronger than you. First of all, she ain't serving the Lord and you are. So how do you have the Lord with you and still lose, man? And still give in the end? Don't give in, man. Read on.
God. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth. And
now, Samson, now she said, tell me where your great strength lies, man. This Hamite woman asking him questions, man. Asking him questions, man. Listen, man. I'm sorry to break it to you, but some of you drug dealers, that woman that you think you got, she's wearing a wire, man. She's wearing a wire. You seen it happen in Eastern this to film. You see it happen to Phil Mitchell that time. The woman was wearing a wire years ago. Listen, man. Some of these women that you think is down for you is wearing a wire, or they're there to set you up, man. Devious has got a song where he says that he'll get a woman to sleep with you and set you up. And that happens, man. A woman will sleep with you and set you up. It happens, man.
She said, tell me strip life.
Exactly. And then that man comes and robs the safe, and you still don't know the woman set you up. It happens, man. Listen, man, it says women have destroyed many kings, man. Read on.
God. It's like verse 6. And Delilah saith to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou might be as bound to afflict thee.
She's asking him, man, tell me, meaning sometimes, man, the woman's asking you too much questions. Think, why is she asking me these questions, man? What is she trying to get out of me? What is she trying to get out of me, man? First of all, Samson shouldn't have been with this woman because this woman was a Hamite. But, go ahead.
Verse 7. And Samson said unto her, if thou bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak.
And obviously, Samson lied to her. Samson lied to her and just, just told her something. She's bothering him. So, like when a woman's bothering you, so you just tell whatever. Samson just told her whatever, man. So, yeah. Samson just made something up. If you bind me with 7 green whips that would never dry, then shall I be weak and be as another man. So Samson told her that lie. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 8. Then the Lord of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whips which had not been dried, and she bound him with them.
Listen, man. It sounds like what's the word? It sounds like Samson was into what is it? Dominatrix. Sounds like Samson was into some dominatrix, man. Let the woman tie him up. Let the woman tie him up, man. Don't let no woman tie you up, man. You're supposed to be masculine, man. I don't want to see a picture of you on Facebook handcuffed to the bedpost, man. I ain't trying to see that, man. And then I'm gonna have to be like, oh yeah, there's an officer in the school, but don't do it. Don't let no woman tie you up, man. You're supposed to be masculine, man. Listen, imagine that. You barely let the police handcuff you, and you're gonna let some woman do it. She handcuffs you to the bed in your boxes, man. Listen, man. Don't let her do that, man. Because then, at camp, you're going to be blazing on the mic. Someone's going to be like, you wasn't wearing them boots and them combats in the picture that we seen.
Leopard print.
You had some leopard print and handcuffs, and I'm going to have to shake my head on the side. I'm going to have to shake my head on the side, and we're going to have to pull you down and tell you stand at the... We're going to have to tell you wait in the van. We're going to have to say, wallet is... No, wallet is... We're going to have to tell you wear the COVID mask so no one knows it's you. You just wear the COVID mask and no one knows it's you. But don't let no woman tie you up. That makes you effeminate, baby. You be masculine, man. Read on.
Come. Which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him...
And she was trying to set Samson up, man. Go ahead.
The Philistines be upon thee, Samson, and he break the whips as threads of tow is broken when it touches fire.
So she lied. She tried to set him up, man. She knew about all this. She knew about the plot, but she's making out like she don't know about the plot. So she's thinking, okay, it's going to be weak. I've enticed him, and now you can come go your way. But she's saying to Samson, the Philistines, meaning she thinks Samson's gone weak at this stage, but obviously lied to her about where his strength lies. Go ahead.
So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me.
Thou hast what?
Mocked me.
And listen, man, you don't go to your woman's birthday party. She's going to say you mocked me. You don't go to your children's birthday party. She's going to say you mocked me. She's going to like, everybody was there asking where's his dad and you didn't show up. She's going to say you've mocked me. And then you're going to feel bad. Maybe I should have shown up. I should have done it for the kids. I should have shown up for the kids. And because everyone's looking at my woman, that she threw a party and the dad couldn't even turn up. It looks bad. Let me go. Oh, you didn't turn up to the Father's Day. You didn't turn up to the Father's Day class at the kids' school and paint with them on Father's Day. You mocked me. You made our child feel lonely. You left our child all alone while everybody else's father was there. Our child had to go and sit with another father because you didn't show up, and then it makes you feel bad. And you say, maybe I should have shown up. Don't show up, man. Stand on what you believe, man. Don't show up. Keep your son off school that day if you want, man. Just don't show up. But your woman will come and say, you've mocked me. Now all the other parents think you don't care. All the other parents think you're not in his life because you didn't show up. And then the next year comes, she reminds you of what you done last year. And then you think, well, let me just give in because last year was rough. And I felt bad. Don't give in, man.
God. And Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies.
Listen, man. She said, thou has mocked me and told me lies, man. Listen, there used to be a saying before, man. There used to be a saying before that lying to the police and lying to women ain't really lying. It's just trying to not incriminate yourself. It used to be that saying, man. That's what you used to say back in the days. Lying to the police and lying to women ain't lying. But don't worry, in here, we tell women the truth, man. We tell them the truth, man. Now, are they going to like it all the times? No. They ain't going to like it at all times, but the truth is the truth, man. Don't worry, they'll get over it, man. Don't worry, you will heal. You will get over it. Read on.
God. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherein thou mightest be
So
bound.
now she's pressing him and pressing him and pressing him. She's saying, tell me, man, tell me. She keeps going on and on and on. Go ahead.
And he saith unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then.
So now Samson wanted to be tied up again, man. Samson wanted to be tied up again because he's saying to her, if they bound me with fresh ropes, go ahead.
Then shall I be weak and be as another man.
So now this woman's going to tie up Samson, man. Go ahead.
And Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And
Listen, man, imagine Samson didn't clock all this. Every time she does these things, the Philistines is upon him. Listen, man. Imagine if every time you go see a woman and you see the same car with niggas outside, you're gonna be like, yo, this woman must be trying to set me up. Imagine if every time you go there, she's saying, oh, there's 5 niggas out the back. Listen, man. Eventually you would come to the conclusion that, yo, this woman is trying to set me up. But obviously Samson being deep in love, he didn't notice that. Go ahead.
And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arm like a thread.
Jump to verse 15.
Verse 15. And she said unto him, How canst thou say I love thee?
There you go. Now they pulled the love card. If you love me, you will do this. If you love me, you will do that. And you're thinking, well, I do love you. And you're saying, if I love you, I'll celebrate Valentine's Day. And then you give it to Valentine's Day. And then before you know it, you're buying balloons and wrapping Christmas presents. You become the best Christmas rapper ever. You know how to make the triangle fold on the Christmas presents, man. You know, and put the bow around it and all of those things, man. You've become the best Christmas rapper. Go ahead.
When thine heart is not with me.
When what?
Thine heart is not with me.
And she will say to you, you don't love me because you're not celebrating Christmas with us. You don't love me because you're not celebrating Easter with us. And then you will give in and be like, but I do love you. So to show my love, I'll celebrate Christmas. To show my love, I'll celebrate Valentine's Day. So you think showing your love is celebrating Valentine's Day, but by you not celebrating Valentine's Day, you're showing more love that way, man. You're showing your woman, I love you, but I'm not going to bend over and I'm not going to conform to what you think love is. I'm not going to conform to what the world tells you love is. What love is me keeping God's commandments, man. That's real love. That's true love. Not me letting you tie you with, what's it called, and telling you where my strength is and celebrating what makes me weak. Go ahead.
Has not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed.
Man, she pressed him, she pressed him, she pressed him. She got on his case, man, kept going on and on and on. She pressured him until one day he became weak and gave in, man. And that's what happens to so much men. They stand strong on in the beginning, and then the pressure gets to them to shut this woman up. They give in, man. You don't give in, man. As long as she keeps going, you keep going, man. Why don't you keep going until she gives in? Until one Valentine's Day, she doesn't mention it, man. Because she's tired and she's vexed of pressuring you. Keep going till then, man. But you don't give in first. Because if you give in, you're going to be celebrating Valentine's Day. Read on.
God. Verse 17. That he told her all his heart and said unto her, they have not a razor.
And he told her all his heart, man. He told her everything, man. He became weak and told her everything. Told her how it feels. Listen, man. Don't ever tell your women certain things about you, man. Because they will use it against you, man. They will use it to hurt you, man. Don't teach them how to harm you. Don't teach them an evil lesson against yourself. Don't teach them what hurts you, man. By you saying to your woman, if you cheat on me, it would break my heart. You saying that, guess what she's gonna do? She's going to cheat on you, man. By you saying to her, if you ever entertain another man, it's gonna break my heart. By you telling her that, every time you upset her, she knows how to break your heart now. By you telling her, if you take the kids away from me, it would break me and I won't be able to live. Guess what she's gonna do? Take the kids away from you one day, man. Because you've told her what hurts you. Don't tell her your weakness, man. Don't tell her which is gonna hurt you, because she will use it against you, man. And then everything you told her is what she's gonna use against you. You're telling her all your deep dark secrets and what you're afraid of. And listen, man, she's looking at you like you're a bitch. Excuse my French, man. Don't tell her all your heart, man. The Bible says, close thy doors from the woman that lays in your bosom, man. You ain't gotta tell her every little thing, man. Because if you do, she's gonna look at you like you're half a man. Let this be a lesson, man. He told her his whole heart. Go ahead.
They have not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto.
And now he told her the secret. No razors come upon his head, because he's been a Nazarite, and obviously Nazarites, a razor couldn't touch their head. Go ahead.
It's like a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb.
Listen, man, he was Nazarite from the womb, man. Go ahead.
If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me.
There you go, man. Samson gave in, man. Gave in to this woman. Go ahead.
And I shall become weak.
And when you tell women everything, you then become weak, man. When you give into their every command, you then become weak. Where you shouldn't do it, man. You're meant to be full of strength, man. You're meant to be full of strength. Not breaking down in tears and doing certain things, man. Don't say too much, man. Now, love your woman, of course. Love your woman. But don't tell her how to hurt you, man. Don't teach her an evil lesson against thyself. Don't teach her what makes you upset. Well, don't teach her what's going to break your heart, because then she'll do that very thing that you told her not to do. You get me? You let her know, man. You open your lips to another man, I'm out of here, man. You let her know that. If you say to her, yo, if you ever have sex with someone else, I'm out of here, chances are she's less likely to do it. But if you tell her, oh, if you open your lips to another man, you're going to break my heart, but because I love you, I'll forgive you. When you say, because I love you, I'll forgive you, she's going to open her legs to 10 men, and you're going to keep forgiving her. You're going to keep forgiving her. Whereas if you say, you open your legs to another man, I'm out of here, she will get the message that this man ain't playing no games, man. Don't teach her evil lesson against yourself. Go ahead.
God. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once.
There you go. And once she found out how to destroy him, she then got them Philistines, man. And that was that for Samson, man. That was that for Samson. Obviously, you can read on in the rest of your time, but for time's sake, give me 1 Kings 11:1. So now we're going to go to Solomon.
First Kings 11:1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
King Solomon did what?
Loved many strange women.
King Solomon loved many strange women which is not of his kindred. Go ahead.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh,
Women, go ahead.
women of the Moabites,
Chinese women,
Ammonites,
Japanese women,
Edomites,
white women,
Zidonians,
white women, Polish women, Russian women, like all of them, man. Zidonians and Hittites. He liked all them heathens, man. Go ahead.
of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them,
The Lord told us not to go into them. Go ahead.
neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
Surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. So you will say, nah, she's like, what it is, you will say, nah, she's my heathen, she accepts the truth. That's what you will say. You will say she accepts the truth, and she doesn't accept the truth, man. While it is, you don't accept the truth. You don't accept the truth. While it is, you end up going in the Christian church, you end up following this woman into the church, man. That's what you end up doing. But obviously, if you was with this woman before the truth, you keep her because it's your woman. But don't get none once you come in the truth, man. Or you're gonna end up like Solomon. Solomon, don't you think Solomon was wiser than you are? And over time, they turned him away, man. Listen, you getting with these heathen women, man. They're gonna have you celebrating Christmas, have you celebrating Kwanzaa, have you burning crystal. You know when people put them crystals around people, they actually believe it does something. It does nothing, man. They're gonna have you doing all of that kind of worship. They're gonna have you burning sage, believing sage gets rid of demons. Sage don't get rid of demons, man. I read on.
God. And it's like turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
Solomon clave unto them in love. So because Solomon loved them, he done certain things for them, man. Read on.
And he had 700 wives.
Jump down to verse 4.
Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after
Solomon
other gods.
became old. And when you become old, usually at your weakest point. So these women used Solomon in his old age to turn away his heart from following the Lord, man. So now, Solomon was doing the Passover and all these things. Now Solomon is making the idols and groves to his heathen women's gods, man, to please them. This didn't happen in one day. The pressure the man kept going on and on and on. Same thing with Samson. So much that his spirit got vexed and he just gave in, man. And it went on one of them ones, whatever makes you happy. He went with whatever makes you happy and started to build things for them. Go ahead.
God. That his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
That is what?
His wives turned away his heart after other gods.
And you get an Arab woman, you're going to be going to the mosque. You're going to be putting your right foot forward when you step in the door, man. If you get with an East Indian woman, you're going to be going to the temple, taking off your shoes when you get there, man. Sitting on a mat, listening to some one of them gurus talking nonsense, man. You're gonna be sitting down doing all of those things, and you ain't gonna know why you're doing it. And the reason you're doing it is why? Because your wife has now got you to worship other gods, man. Because they will turn away your heart from following the Lord. And like we said in this class is about learning from people's mistakes and what happened in the past. Now, Solomon should have learned from Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, man. Solomon should have read Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, and understood it. And surely Solomon read it loads of times. You know why? Because the Bible says that the king must stay reading the law, man. The king must stay reading the law. It lets you know what Deuteronomy 17 or one of them. That obviously they must read the law night and day, this and that. So Solomon's read it, man. And him being the wisest king and reading it, women was so powerful that they caused him to go and worship other gods, man. They even caused him to go and have sex with them. These times he could have had any Israelite woman. Why? Because he's the king. He could have had all them top women. You see the ones that you want that you could never get. You see the ones that your face ain't able to get you. So look, the ones that your face ain't able to get you. Solomon could have got them, man, because he's got all the riches, and he passed them up for Zidonian women, man. Passed them up for Edomite women, Moabite women, and then eventually they turned his heart away from following the Lord. Read on.
As was the heart of David, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God.
And his heart wasn't perfect. Why? Because he's going against God's laws. So his heart wasn't perfect with the Lord, as was David's, his father's. Now, people's going to say, how was David's heart perfect if he sinned as well? Sinning doesn't mean you're not perfect. Obviously, David repented and served the Lord, man. He fell down, got back up, got back on track, served the Lord, man. Like, just because you fall, it don't mean you can't be perfect. You can be perfect, man. Read on.
For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
Ashtaroth, man. That's what the Ishtar. There's Ishtar in them, man. The goddess of the Zidonians, man. He started celebrating Easter and all them things. Go ahead.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
Japanese god, man. Some idol. He went after those things, started to serve them. Go ahead.
And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord.
And that's evil in the sight of the Lord, man. To worship other gods. That's evil in the sight of the Lord. And Solomon did it. Why did he do it? Because these women swayed him, man.
That's right.
These women, he clave to them in love. And in order to keep these women, and in order to keep them happy, he had to serve their gods, man. He had to serve their gods in order to keep them happy, man. Read on. Actually, read that. That brings us to the end of the class. You can read the rest in your own time. It's just basically saying the same thing of what Solomon done, the groves he set up, and so forth.
Chapter 5.